Let's now focus on the second game to make you understand the full pattern. Second game was played by Capablanca as black. And this is a Caro-Kann advanced variation. E5, bishop f5, bishop d3, takes. And remember, the main line is to play e6 and queen a5 check and queen e6. Something like that happened. b6 was played by black. Again, queen b6 is again a kind of a good move. Let's see. Let's talk about that later on. Queen a6. Now, if white captures, black can capture by the knight and play c5. White declines that. c5 was played by black. c3 is played by white. And suddenly, the moment every time a pawn moves, holes are getting created. Right now, c2 is created and also d3 is created. Yeah. Understood? Earlier, the c2 pawn was protecting. So, yeah, these are the two holes. Knight c6, knight d2, takes. And remember, this pawn is the advanced pawn, correct? So, I have told you already that in the advanced variations, usually black likes to exchange queens. So, black found a very nice way to attack the hole. Queen to d3. Forcing the exchange of queens. Because knight b3 will, or knight f3 you can play, knight b3 or knight f3, but then queen takes. Okay, we are again reaching a middle game in which castling is not required because queens are not there on the board. But you will learn a lot again about the holes. So first of all, C file is the open file, right? So black and white will try to take control of the C file as much as they can. And also, black has a couple of holes right now, which is d6, d7, e7, c7. Are there any other holes?
Sir, b5.
b5 is not a hole because I can play a6 and... But the moment I play a6, then b6
Yeah,
becomes the
b6
hole.
is...
Okay, but right now, these are not the holes.
Sir, everything on the 8th rank is hole.
We don't even count 8th rank or first ranks. Why? Because the pawns start their journey from 2nd and 7th. So holes are always created from 2nd rank to 7th rank and vice versa. Knight to e7. Now, basically, in Caro-Kann, this knight likes to sit on c6. But right now, it's kind of... What is this concept called? When both the pieces like to sit on the same square. I told you this one time. It's called as superfluous pieces. And both the pieces want to sit on the same square, but they cannot. These two knights are superfluous pieces. Bishop here. Now, holes have been created, which are b5 and b6. So from now on, when you play chess, start focusing on this aspect. Whenever a pawn moves, new holes get generated. And whenever a hole gets generated, you should put pieces on that square, not the pawns. Rook c1, b6. Now suddenly c6, b5, a6, everything is whole. Now let's try to understand which out of these many holes, I hope I don't miss anything. Which is the weakest one?
Sir, it is b5 and
d6 and b5.
Two kind of holes are weak. Number one, holes on semi-open files or open files are always weak. No questions asked. Number two, a hole which is controlled by opponent's pawn becomes weakness. All right. So let's see the game. A4. Now b5 becomes weakness. King to d7. Knight c3. Controlling the b5 square. And also, remember, now knight c6, knight b4 is a possibility because even if they take, bishop takes. King of pawn, knight c6. King e2, rook c8. And not just one. It's an open file. It's the only open file on the board right now. So both the rooks want to sit on the c5. Bishop e7. Knight to b1. Pawn f5. And knight to b4. Now here, arguably, bishop can take. But bishop did not take. Probably because of the isolated weak pawn here. But I guess it can be taken on b4. Knight c6. And now, first of all, don't go for aggression. Don't go for like, some moves like g5 or h5, something like that. First of all, consolidation. Remember, before aggression, there should be consolidation. So now we have consolidated everything. And the knight is also controlling the c1 square, so they cannot double it up. Rook to d2. The rook on d2 and d1 are very bad. Just protecting the isolated queen pawn. But isolated queen pawn doesn't need protection. Why? Because two pieces are already protecting it. And also, this is on a closed file, so the rooks can never attack it. So white should have tried to take control of holes, which white did not do in the entire game. That's why white lost. So knight goes back, because now rook is on open file. Rook to d3. Knight b4, rook back. Rook here, rook b1. Rook a1, bishop d6. Some maneuvers, and now take happens. Takes, step back, rook back, rook c4, rook c1, knight here. Should white capture the rook or not capture the rook according to you? It captures, then tell me why it captures, and if you say it should not capture, then what should white play instead?
Maybe we want to play rook a1.
Yeah, very good
to,
idea.
to stabilize the c1 rook, because we don't want only the knight and the bishop to take back.
Good
because
job.
both the knight and the bishop are very strong in their positions.
Good job. A1. So these are the moves which you have to kind of have that stamina. See, we say that chess is a game in which stamina is not required. I mean, I kind of say that, if you keep fighting, if you keep playing moves in order to control center and don't exchange pieces, and if your opponent is also doing the same thing, suppose you do an exercise, start playing chess, keep controlling center, don't exchange pieces. Your mind will start going crazy. That why is someone not exchanging? Should I exchange? And you will be forced to do the exchange. And that is where you should have that quality of, not going for the exchange, restraining yourself. White, the rook on c4. D into c4. Knight goes back. Obviously, it needs to be protected. So we just capture it and then king d6, king d5. Rook goes a1. Pawn to g6. Pawn f3. Rook b8. Idea is to play b5. b5. Take. And now a5 is kind of a pawn which will be the winning card. Bishop goes back. Knight to b4. Pawn to b3. Takes. King takes. And now come back to c6. Check. Back. Now, how do we make progress? This is again kind of a very good endgame in which the side who has a passed pawn on the far side of the board is usually the better side. Rook goes to b1. The idea is to kick the king away. We do this exercise in the Lucina positions. Kick the king away, and once the king gets away, then we try to push the pawns. Kick it away. Exchange the rooks, because if the rooks are gone, a5 pawn is kind of the winning side. When you have created a weak pawn or something, never take it. Like preserve the weakness. Make your opponent, realize that, okay, I can take it anytime I want, but I won't take it. If I can only get knight to b5, because I can take on d4 whenever I want. See, white has just lost the fight of d4. White has just given up on d4. Now here again, it's very, very interesting. I can still capture, isn't it? Still it can be captured. But black is not doing that, because black needs the knight to kind of provoke the pawn and go up, because King is stuck. C6. Here, now a check, always find tempos. And now pawn push. Okay, first of all, exchange, check, go away, and pawn push. See, bishop has gone over here just to find this one check, and they have just given up the pawn. So white just gave up the pawn right from kind of in the last 5 moves. Knight was taken nicely. Up. Now, for obvious reasons, you cannot take because of pawn a2. Back. And now they want to go rook a8 to kind of play. So you have to bring the knight to again block the rook's path. So if rook a8, probably we can still go knight to b4 and play a2. Always remember. Okay, again, very interestingly, you cannot capture the pawn because tempo. He goes back, knight b4. Rook a3, knight c2. But this is very direct. White just resigned here. Now, what did we learn from these two games?